I wish I had a bigger kitchen. I'm canning yellow squash today on a pressure canner. I've got some water here so I can parboil the squash. Alright. I've got my pressure canner over there heating up. I've had my squash right here. I'm about to cut them up and put them in this clean sink or another bowl, and get started. I'm chopping mine like this, just in like little cubes, probably 1-inch cubes. I'm not doing these in circles. I'll do the next batch in circles so I can fry these. These are going to be for sauteing and like baking. So the burden of abundance, as I've heard it called, is in full effect. I'll show you what I got going on my floor. I have a little box kitty thing full of squash. I've gotten into a little bit, and I let some of these get pretty big, and the seeds are big, but that's okay. I don't care. Still gonna put them up. Down the bottom, I have some okra. This stuff is huge. And now I don't like this Clemson Spineless for pickling, but I do like it for frying. What I went ahead and did is I have 7 quart jars filled with cut up zucchini. Now this is not blanched or anything yet. I'm getting water ready to blanch it. But I went ahead and fill 7 of these up, because once you blanch it, you're going to lose some of that. So I'll go ahead and cut up another squash or so, about another squash, and so I can have extra, so all of my jars are full to capacity, so there's no room wasted. It can get a little confusing when they say like boil for 3 minutes, when they're talking about how you blanch this. You blanch it, okay? Now, how I blanch mine is, once you put the squash in there, the water temperature is going to decrease a tad bit. So I wait until I just feel a little bit of give in the texture. And I have another pot, but it takes a really long time to boil. But I have a pot that fits this blanching basket, and this is actually really great. I could have used this, but no, probably could have used that. Oh well. Oh well. As I go, I kind of clean up. So that's a little over 7 quarts of squash. And I'm just going to blanch it until it starts to get a little tender. 5, maybe 10 minutes, I'm not sure. I'll give you the final rundown on that when I get done with it. So, just go ahead, rinse that off real good. Because before I use my my pots and pans, I'll rinse them again right before I use my sanitizer. Okay, so what I'm doing now is, in between time, I'm cutting up a bunch of cucumbers. It is July, and my cucumbers got a late start. I'm not really sure why. Well, yeah, I do. Okay, so we had some cooler temperatures in May. April and May, and so when they were out, they really kind of stunted rather than just take off when I put them in the ground, because I started them from seeds, which maybe I should have started them from seeds outside, you know, just straight in the ground, direct sow, but I didn't. So every year there are challenges in your garden. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It doesn't mean it's going to always be like that. It just kind of means that's what it is this year. And so don't give up, keep trying. Okay, so the centers of my squash, hang on. Some of them I cut a little big. The centers are starting to become a little bit swollen, and the white part, the texture's changing. That water really isn't that hot. I'm gonna leave it in for another about 5 minutes. I was using the wrong burner. I was using my big large burner for my canner and my small burner for my squash. So I switched it around And now we're gonna get busy real quick. All right, I believe it's done. It's ready. Okay. Now what you do is, I like to use a strainer for my stuff when I start it. Okay. You'll notice when they've been blanched a little while, they'll start changing the color. The little bitty, the insides will start to change. They'll get more colorful. Okay, looks good. Now my jars, I had them in the microwave. And I leave them on the microwave tray and carefully scoot them over to my counter. You want to push these down just a tad. Okay. Now, this pot of water you just used to blanch your squash in, I wouldn't use that to top off my jars. I have one of those single burner deals over there, a single burner, and it only works on the kind of like conduction bottom pans. It won't work on every pan. So okay, now at this point we're going to fill to within an inch and a half an inch head space, and I like to use a pot because it holds more water and it gets done quicker. Just like that. You may have to adjust your head space after you bubble, and you will see bubbles coming up from there. Oh. Oops, way too much. This might be where you go ahead and get your measuring cup out. Okay, looks fine to me. Oh, it's getting hot. What I've noticed when I'm pressure canning is if the water level in all your jars are the same, I have less siphoning. So was meticulously get to a half an inch of head space. The first ring is an inch, the second ring's a half an inch, the third one's a quarter. You can tell on the jar itself. Okay, fantastic. You get your taste, you get your salt in there. A teaspoon of salt per jar. Don't worry about it being too much because squash is very bland. It really needs that salt if you're going to be pressure canning it to be safe. Okay. And then with the leftover hot water I got, I just kind of line my label and my lid up. I saw that on the Deep South Homestead. He said, yeah, I line my, of course some of them don't have it. I guess if you're using balls, they've got the name on it, but these are some old Harvest Guards or whatever. Also, fingertip tight. Don't put no wrist action on there. If you tighten it down too hard, it'll buckle the lid. Especially with your off-brand lids. It's been a minute since I pressure canned anything. Now I thought my pressure canner was busted last year. I'm such a dope. But I watch a bunch of YouTube people, and one of them, Stivers Homestead, he said, Zach, I think's his name. He said, you have to push down and turn on your pressure cannon lid. So, okay, open, close, open. Now we'll wait till it steams up, and when it starts steaming, I'm going to let it steam for 10 minutes and then start my timer. Steam for 10 minutes. When it starts rocking, then I will set it to 20 minutes. Adjust that down just a tad, so it slows down just a little bit. Pressure doesn't rise too fast. Okay. When this pops up, it'll be pressurized. When this starts rocking, that's when you start your time. And there we are. There they go. All canned up. Ta-da! This one siphoned a little, so I've set it aside to use first. It's going to continue to bubble. That's okay. Let it do it.